In this video, we're going to be taking a look at finding a rule. Now you would need to turn your Go Math books to page 391, get out your math book and also a pencil. And the essential question that we are going to answer is, how can you use the strategy solve a simpler problem to help you solve a problem with patterns? Now let's take a look at that problem on page 391. And it reads, an archaeological dig, Gabriel separates his dig site into sections with areas of 15 square feet each. There are 3 archaeological members digging in every section. What is the area of the dig site if 21 members are digging at one time? Now, a couple things that we need to work through whenever we're looking at word problems. We need to look at what do I need to find, what information do I need to use, and also how will I use that information. Okay, so as far as what I need to find, and with this you just look right at that question, what do you need to find, what is the area of the dig site if 21 members are digging at one time. Okay, so you can see you need to find the area of Gabriel's archaeological dig site. Now, what information do you need to use? What you can do, you can see you can use the area of each section here, which is 15 square feet. Let's write that in. Okay, that there are 3 members in each section and that there are 21 members digging. Okay, so how will you use the information? You're going to use the information to search for patterns to solve a simpler problem. And that's what we're going to take a look at. Okay, for the solve the problem section. Okay, so we're going to take a look at solving the problem here, and we can see some possible rules. Multiply the number of sections by 3 to find the number of members. Multiply the number of members by 5 to find the total area. Okay, so we can see here within our table, number of members 3, you can see that they're being multiplied here by 5, 6 times 5, 9 times 5, and so on. Alright, so to complete this table, we can see 21 times 5 is going to give us 105. Moving across, okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, adding 3 number of members. Moving across with the area in square feet, you're adding 3 for the number of members, adding 15 area in square feet. Okay, so multiply by 3, multiply by 5 like we just said. Okay, so to answer the question, alright, so in the area of the dig site, if 21 members are digging, the area is 105 square feet. Okay, so you can see organizing your information by using this table breaks it down very easily, makes it nice and organized. Easily you can see 21 members are digging, you have 105 square feet. Okay, so let's take a look at that next problem on page 392. It says, Casey is making a design with triangles and beads for a costume. In his design, each pattern unit adds 3 triangles and 18 beads. If Casey uses 72 triangles in his design, how many times does he repeat the pattern unit? How many beads does Casey use? So the first thing we're going to do is figure out, what do we need to find, what information do you need to use, and also how you will use that information. Then after we have all that information down, we will begin solving the problem. Okay, so let's take a look at what we need to find, and I do want you to write this down on page 392. So first of all, what do you need to find? Easily you can see you need to find the number of times the pattern unit is repeated and the number of beads Casey uses. Okay, how do you know that? Because you can see right here in the questions that they're asking you. Okay, now what information are you going to use? You're going to use the number of beads, okay, which is 18, and triangles, which is 3. Casey uses in one pattern unit, okay, and that his costume has 72 triangles. So those are all very important information that you will need to use. How are you going to use it? You're going to use the information to search for patterns to solve that simpler problem. Okay, so now that we have the information, let's take a look at how we can solve it. Okay, now what I want you to do is take a look at my table that I have set up. So this is how you would go about solving a problem like this. We think about what we know, and then that's going to help us figure out what we don't know. Okay, so the information that we do know, okay, we know that for one pattern unit we have 3 triangles and 18 beads. So I want you to set up this table, pattern unit at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to skip all the way to 24. We don't need to go all the way to 24 here. Okay, in order, we can go from 4 all the way to 24, because by 4 we'll be able to know the rule. Okay, so first pattern unit, 3 triangles, 18 beads. I want you to pause this video, write this table, and then we'll work through it together. So pause the video now. Okay, so if we take a look at if one pattern unit, 3 triangles, 18 beads, that means for 2 pattern units we would have 6 triangles, alright, and 36 beads. Alright, for 3 triangles, 3 pattern units, 9 triangles, 54 beads. Okay, so we can start seeing the pattern here. We're adding 3, we're adding 18. For triangles to beads, you can see it's being multiplied by 6. 3 times 6 is 18, 6 times 6 is 36, 9 times 6 is 54. Okay, we have 12 triangles. Multiply that by 6, that's going to give us 72. Now if we keep going, as we keep adding 3 going all the way to 24, okay, I know that 4 goes into 24 6 times, so I can take this 12 and multiply that by 6. Okay, so that will give me 72 triangles and 24 pattern units. And then finally, if I'm taking that at keeping along with the rule, 72 times 6, okay, if I multiply that together, that's going to give me 432. Okay, so the question is, if Casey uses 72 triangles in his design, how many times does he repeat the pattern unit? Okay, so we figure that out. That's going to be 24 times. And how many beads does he use along with that? 72 times 6 gives us 432 beads. So you can see how we organize the information using a table, and then we are able to find that pattern to solve that simpler problem, which was the question in the story problem. Okay, I want you to work through the share and show problem all by yourself on page 393. When you're finished, you can press play, and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, so you can see the answers here. How many posts and rails does he need for a fence that will be 9 sections long? Number of sections is 9. Okay, we have 27, and number of rails 54. Okay, so we can see possible rules for posts. Alright, so multiply the number of sections by 3. Okay, so 1 section, multiply that by 3, that will give us the number of posts. And then possible rules for rails, multiply the number of sections by 6, or multiply the number of posts by 2. In other words, 1 times 6 gives us 6, 2 times 6 gives us 12. Okay, or multiply number of posts by 2. 3 times 2 gives us 6, 6 times 2 gives us 12, and so on. So the answer to the question, how many posts and rails does he need for a fence that will be 9 sections long? 27 posts and 54 rails. Okay, I want you to work through this section all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play, and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, so you can see the question, how much does Jane earn in 1 week if she works 24 hours per week? Okay, you can see $1,000, and the rule you can see is multiply the hours worked by 25. 2 times 25 gives us 50, 4 times 25 gives us 100, and so on, all the way working with 40 times 25 gives us 1,000. Now, wrapping up the video, let's take a look at that test prep problem. When you are finished with this problem, I will give you the answer. So pause the video now. Okay, the answer for this problem is letter C. And moving to the essential question, How can you use a strategy to solve a simpler problem to help you solve a problem with patterns? I can find a pattern using simple numbers and then use the pattern that I found to predict results with the greater numbers to solve the problem. So this concludes the video on finding a rule. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.